Finding shapes and getting familiar with them on the keyboard is one of the main challenges of learning. But when you practice and get quicker at it, it makes learning new things much easier, so it's a really important thing to do. We can start by practicing finding individual intervals from any key, because the shapes we need to find playing music are intervals, or they're made up of intervals. So this is a guided practice video where I'm going to teach you how to see and find these shapes, and I'm going to help you practice them and test you on them. It's also part of a series because doing all of them in one go would be far too much. So in this video, we're going to focus on seconds and thirds and then gradually expand throughout the series. So make sure to come back for the next videos where we'll work our way up to an octave. If you don't know, intervals are the names we give to the different sized gaps between notes. And we can measure the size of those gaps by how many half steps away things are. But the thing is, depending on where you start, the shapes are going to look completely different because we're going to have a mixture of black and white keys. That's what makes them hard to see and why we need to practice. There's a lot more to understand about why intervals are important and how to label all of them. So I've got a video that you can watch which completely explains everything you need to know. I really recommend watching that after this video if you haven't seen it, because intervals are fundamental musical knowledge that you need. Just to point out, sometimes we specifically think about intervals inside a scale or a key, so how many notes through the scale something has leapt. But in this video, we're not doing that. We're just doing any interval from any note. I'm going to do something else on that in the future for different keys. This is often something that needs a bit of a refresh and a revisit occasionally. So over on my Patreon page, I'm going to be doing a much longer extended version of this that you could keep coming back to whenever you need and drop in and do a bit of the testing. There's a link for that in the description if you want to take a look and see if that's something you want to do. So first of all, we're going to do seconds and then thirds, and then we'll mix them together. So first of all, what is a second? Well, if we're in a scale, if we have the context of a scale, when you move a second, you can move a second up or you can move a second down. That means moving to the next note in the scale. So if we're talking about spelling notes, that means the next letter along as well, either way. But we're going to be talking about seconds and thirds out of context. So that means we have two kinds of seconds that we could use: a minor second or a major second. A minor second is the smallest interval on the piano. It's the same thing as a half step or a semitone. So if I start from the note C, a half step or a minor second above would be the next note along, which is D flat. Or if I went a half step or a minor second below, it would be the next note along down. That would be B. So remember, we've got to watch out for these spots where there's no black keys in between. If I go a half step up or a minor second up from this note, it's going to be a black note. But if I do it from this note E and I go a half step up, it's going to be a white note because there's no black key in between. So you can start to see now then how the shapes are going to look different. So a major second then is just two half steps. So we do the same thing but just go on for two of them. We call this a whole step as well. From C, a major second above would be the note D. We've gone 1, 2 half steps or a whole step. It's better to try and see it in one leap if you can. If we were to do it from E though, you can see that a whole step here is going to be white to black because there was no black key in between E and F. So 1 half step, 2 half steps takes us to there. And of course, you can go backwards and do this as well. Remember, the main thing you want to understand is that whilst these shapes do look different, which is why we need to practice them. So here, a major second's 2 white keys, but here it's 2 black. It could be black to white or white to black as well, though. The distance is actually exactly the same if you count the amount of half steps. If you could see on the inside of a real piano where all the notes are basically in one dead straight line, then you would see that the distances are exactly the same. And when the distances are exactly the same, it's the same interval, they have the same relationship, they have the same name, and they have the same character to the sound. Obviously, it's going to sound a bit different when things are higher or lower, but we're going to hear that same pattern. The seconds are a little bit easier to find, so we'll just do a couple of minutes on those and then we'll move to thirds. If anything's going too fast or too slow throughout the video, remember you can change the playback speed on YouTube if you go to that little cogwheel in the bottom right hand corner, or in the settings on the top right if you're using a mobile phone. So here's how this is going to work to start with. I'm going to play a note, and then I'm going to say the name of the note as well. Let's say I said G, so I'm going to play a G. I want you to play the G, and then I'm going to say an interval above or below. So I might say a major second or above, I might say a minor second below, and you've got to find what the answer would be. So if I said G and a major second above, you'd have to find that answer, and then I'll give you a few seconds to find it, and then you can look at the screen and see if you've got the correct answer. So let's say I said E flat and a minor second below. You find the note E flat, and then you find the answer that's a minor second below, and then check if you've got it right. So we're going to do 2 minutes of seconds, and then we'll move on to thirds. F and a minor second above. So you should have this one. D and a major second above. Should have this one. E. B and a major second below. Should have A. C sharp and a major second above. Should have D sharp, B and a major second above. You should have this one, C sharp, F and a minor second below. You should have this one here, E, B flat and a major second above. Should have this one here, C, E flat and a minor second below. Should have this one here, D, E and a major second above. Should have this one here, F sharp, C sharp and a major second below. Should have this one here, B. And let's do one more, A flat and a minor second above. Should have this one here. Just quickly, if this video is helpful for you, then can you please click the like button, because that's really helpful for the channel. And let me know in the comments how you get on with this. I do also have a PDF worksheet available from my website, which has a brief recap of all the theory stuff you need to know and a complete list of all the interval names. So let's move on to thirds then. So thirds are what we generally use to build the first kind of chords that you learn, major chords and minor chords. So if we just think about like the start of the chord to the next note in the chord, a minor chord uses a minor third at the beginning, and a major chord uses a major third at the beginning. So a minor third, if we do an example from C, it's always best to get these things from C first. A minor third is 1.5 whole steps. So we just did a minor second and then a major second. And then the next one on, the next half step on would be 1.5 whole steps. That's a minor third. So that's the way I like to see it. One whole step and then another half. And then hopefully you can just see that in one chunk with some practice. So every time you play a minor third, starting from any note, you could be starting a minor chord from that first note. And then a major third is the next size up. So instead of 1.5 whole steps, if we go from C again, we have two whole steps, so that's a major third, and that's what we'd use in the to start off a major triad, a major chord. So if we look at a few minor thirds from different notes, so from E flat, we're going to have, there's one whole step. So basically we're just going one note further on than you did before. So if you can do one whole step, you can just go another half step on. So you did a half step and you did a whole step, so now you just kind of add them together. A whole step from the starting point and then another half step on. That gives you a minor third. A major third from here would be just two whole steps on. So if you can do one whole step, you can just do it again from there and you get two. Okay, so from E flat, one whole step, jump again, two whole steps, that gives you a major third. And again, as always, depending on where you start, these shapes are going to look slightly different, but they'll be the same distances, either a minor third distance or a major third distance. So minor thirds have the same quality as each other and major thirds have the same quality as each other. It's just the buttons on the piano make it look different. So you might notice that if you move in thirds up the white keys like this, they all appear the same. They're all the same distances between the white keys, but some of them are major thirds and some of them are minor thirds, because if you count the white and black keys between them, that's going to vary. So here, there's three notes in between those two notes there, but here, which looks the same as that, you can see there's only two notes in between there, so it's a smaller gap. We're going to do these ones a little bit different. We're going to do a few minutes like we did with the seconds, finding them above and below, and then I'm going to do a couple of minutes of me playing two notes together and you telling me what the interval is, and then we're going to mix them together with the seconds. So let's get started. I'm going to play a note and say a minor third or a major third above or below, and you have to find the answer. So we've got F, find a minor third above F. You should have this note here. It's 1.5 whole steps, A flat. A major third above E. You should have this note here, the middle black one, G sharp, so that's 1, 2 whole steps. A minor third below B. So you should have this one here. So that's 1 whole step and a half. 1.5 whole steps below, that's a minor third. E flat and a major third above. So you should have G. So that's 1, 2 whole steps above. Let's do C sharp and a minor third above. Okay, so you should have E, and that's 1.5 whole steps above. Let's do A and a minor third below. So you should have F sharp, that is 1.5 whole steps below. Let's do B and a major third above. So you should have D sharp, that's 1, 2 whole steps above, major third, start of a B major chord. Let's do F sharp and a minor third below. So you should have D sharp, is 1.5 whole steps. Whole step and then a half step below. Let's do B flat and a major third below. So you should have G flat. That's 1, 2 whole steps below. Remember, every time you play a major third like that, so if you have those two, that's like the start of a G flat major chord. You just have the fifth as well. So now we're going to do a couple of minutes of this kind of the other way around. So I'm going to play 2 notes together, and you need to look at them and try and recognize whether it's a major third or a minor third. So you just have to say that to yourself, and then I will say the answer. Now I do just need to turn the sound down for this, because obviously training to hear the difference between these is really important. It's just not what we're testing at the moment. So I'm going to turn the sound down for a sec, and then let's do 2 minutes of this. So I'm just going to play 2 notes together, and you have a couple of seconds or a few seconds just to think about which interval it is, minor third or major third. Okay, so what's this? That is a major third, 2 whole steps. That is a minor third, 1.5 whole steps. So even though it looks the same because it's the same distance of white keys, there's still a different amount of white and black keys in between them. Okay, what's this? That is a minor third, it's 1.5 whole steps. This. That is a major third, 1, 2 whole steps. That is also a major third, 1, 2 whole steps. That is a minor third, 1.5 whole steps. Sorry about the annoying noise my keyboard makes. That is a minor third, 1.5 whole steps. That is also a minor third, 1.5 whole steps. We'll do 2 more. That is a minor third, 1.5 whole steps. And then lastly, that is a major third, 1, 2 whole steps. So now we're going to mix together the seconds and thirds. We'll do a couple of minutes of me asking you to find the interval above or below, and then we'll do what we just did then, where I'll play it and you tell me what the name is. So we're mixing together minor seconds, minor thirds, and major thirds. Okay, off we go. So F and a major second above. Should have this one here, G. E flat and a minor second below. Should have D here. A flat and a minor third above. So that would be B, or we'd call it C flat in that case. E and a major third above. Should have G sharp, C, and a minor third above. That's E flat, F, and a major third below. Should have D flat, B, and a minor third below. Should that one there, G sharp, E, and a major second above. Should have F sharp, C, and a major second below. Should have B flat, and then G, and a major third above. Just realised I forgot to turn the sound back on for that one, but it doesn't really matter for this exercise, it's more of a visual thing. So we'll quickly finish off by doing a couple of minutes the other way. I'll play 2 notes and you tell me what the interval between them is. So remember, minor second, major second, minor third, or major third. Okay, what's this? That's a major second, it's a whole step. That is a minor third, so 1.5 whole steps. That's like the start of a C sharp minor chord. That is a major third, so that's 2 whole steps apart. Start of a G major chord. That is a minor second, because there's no black key between these 2 white keys. That is a minor third, 1.5 whole steps. That could be the start of a C minor chord. That is a major second from E flat to F, a whole step. That could be the start of the E flat major scale. That is a major second. That could be the start of the B major scale. That is a minor third. Could be the start of an E flat minor chord. 1.5 whole steps. Let's do one more. That is a minor third, 1.5 whole steps. That could be the start of a G minor chord. I hope that was helpful. Remember, this stuff needs the occasional refresher, so you can come back and watch this video, or you can check out the extended version over on Patreon. That video is much longer. Don't forget to come back for the next part where we'll be looking at 4 to 5, and then after that, all the way to an octave. Thanks for watching.